Welcome to the very first video in a brand new series called World Tours. Here we will be showcasing creators, players and community members' worlds. We will cover creative builds that focus on design and aesthetics. Today we will be showcasing a world from Sarah's Factory. You can find her on YouTube and streaming on Twitch. With that said, I'd like to introduce our guest today, Sarah.
Welcome into Sarah's Factory.
Before we get to the interview, let's have a look at her world. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm just going to go straight into the questions. How many hours do you have in Satisfactory in total?
So I have about 1,600 hours so far in Satisfactory, and I've been playing it for about 2.5 years.
Nice, alright. So how many hours in the actual world then? Like this world?
Yeah, so this world is a sandbox world, so I actually completed it in under 650 hours.
Right, so you did a creative world, so does that mean you have flight and you have no build cost, but I believe you do have to work for your power, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So in my world, I do work for all of my power. I worked as quick as I could to get to my nuclear phase. That is by far my favorite phase. And once I've hit that, I ship all of my nuclear waste off to a giant shipment graveyard, and I have all the power I need.
It's one way to do it. Right, then the next question I know people will ask is your world isn't modded, or are you running it completely vanilla with just advanced features on?
Yeah, no, great question. So I am running completely vanilla. This entire world, I just, started it up. The only things that I have set different are, in-game options.
In-game options, so pretty much vanilla then. Right, perfect. So the nice thing about that is that everybody can, if they want to do what you did, console players or PC, then there's it's nothing holding them back from essentially replicating your approach. Let's call it that. Anyways, so one question that I was kind of interested in is your 3 best builds, and then which one of those 3 is your personal favorite one?
Oh, that is a very tough question. So I think I'm between, they're all my favorites, but I think I'm between the Pink Palace, which is that like giant hotel looking thing, my Flatiron building, which is like the New York classic style, and then I do love my Hyrule castle. Yeah.
The one build that I saw that kind of stood out to me was the castle. But that is from, I believe, The Legend of Zelda. I'm not over familiar with those games, but I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly right. So that is my Trigon factory, and if you guys play, if anyone here plays Legend of Zelda, you guys will know that the Triforce is a very big thing. So I decided to join the two and use the castle from the Ocarina of Time. video game from The Legend of Zelda, which is like a childhood staple for me.
Nice. And how long did it take you to do that one? Was that kind of like one of your earlier builds, or was that when you were a bit more experienced and maybe a bit quicker at building something like that?
Yeah, that one I think was kind of like in the middle. So that one was between the Pink Palace. I had just finished the Pink Palace, and I think that was my next one. So it was kind of the same level as Pink Palace, I'd say, with some, stuff I learned.
Okay. I really like the design. The thing about it is because it's kind of like on the hilltop, it does kind of stand out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people saw in the video and in the background footage now that that's a very cool design. And I do love the little dragon in the back. It's a nice touch. The skeleton.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I actually did that one night when I was hanging out with all of my friends on Discord, and they were like, "Can you show us like some of your building stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "I don't know what I'm gonna build," and I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna make a dragon bones," and I did. And it took me like
brilliant.
an hour. Yeah.
And also the other one was I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the castle, but the other dragon that's kind of like lying down in the back of the build, kind of gaping at a like I don't want to say a cave entrance, but just like an opening. That's also a cool one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a big road that I had built to kind of like connect that whole area that I call my sand pit. And I've seen so many other people kind of create dragons, and that was the first dragon I made. The dragon bones actually came after that. But I didn't think I was gonna actually be able to like make it look good. So I was like, I'm just gonna like build this off in the side. And I made it way bigger than I thought I was going to. But I love it. I think it ended up turning out really good.
I had a few of those where you start building, you're like, I don't know, I kind of feel it, but it seems like it's okay. And when you get to the end, you're like, damn, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know, because I actually had plans for that dragon to actually climb my power tower, and like create more than one, but I ended up like not organizing my power tower the way I wanted to. So I have very, very big ideas for my next world.
I have to say the one that I enjoyed the most was the car wash. It had a lot of creativity. It also requires a fair amount of technical know-how and experience to build. It's also the interior, for me, quality-wise, matches the exterior. And I just love the way that you use those, I think it's called wraparound brushes, using the signs to kind of like randomly lay them out to make it look like one of those wraparound brushes just kind of like chilling in the corner. That was actually very nice. I really enjoyed that one. I think that was a good one.
Thanks. Yeah, that was actually the first time I realized that you could put a blueprint inside of a blueprint designer. I was like,
this makes so much sense afterwards.
I was like, This is so much easier. Yeah.
I do that many times where I'll make a small blueprint because I know I want to do something in detail that needs to be repetitive, and then I'll just put that one and then position it exactly like you want within the bigger blueprint, and you just make another one, and then Bob's your uncle.
I know, it makes so much sense. Before, I was just doing it all by hand.
And speaking of your creations, obviously some of them you can see is created from reference images. Do you restrict yourself to reference images, or is it just kind of like a broad inspiration in most cases? Because there's a few very iconic buildings in your world that you can clearly spot, and then some that either I'm not familiar with, or it might just be something from your imagination. Like, how do you kind of split that balance?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I just kind of build whatever I feel like. So I do have like a Pinterest board that I use for like my inspiration photos, and a lot of the time I'll kind of combine a lot of the photos together. So, I'll be like, oh, I really like this part of this building, and I'll take that part and then I'll put it into, the other part, and I'll make like my own Frankenstein. But like, for instance, my giant golden spiral tower, that was actually based off of an antique lamp that I just found to be beautiful, and I was like, I'm gonna make that into a building.
It's actually quite cool.
So it's a little all over the place.
I think it's probably what most of us do, is kind of Frankenstein a bunch of references into something that you more or less had in mind. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I do also like take photos and completely recreate it as well. I like to make it like almost as if I'm like making like a Lego set, trying to just exactly make it how it would look in the real world.
I do also kind of in some ways think about Satisfactory as the ultimate Lego set, being a kid that grew up with Legos.
Yeah, it's Lego sets without stepping on Legos.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Right, and then so something I found that I've been trying to convince people to use blueprints in general, and a lot of people, and myself included, initially was like, no, I'll just do it by hand and just quickly, finish it up. But what would you say? Because you kind of follow the same path, if I remember correctly, where you're like, I'm just going to do it like this, and then you like played around with the blueprint maker, and then you realize, oh, this thing is actually extremely powerful.
Oh yeah.
It can both. You don't have to now sacrifice quality for time or time for quality. You can have both.
Yes.
You can do it really fast and really detailed. So, what would you say to people who are still on the fence when it comes to a blueprint maker?
It is by far, like, when you first start, you're like, this is over my head. I don't know how to do this. Like, blueprints are like crazy and wild to think about. But I will say, like, once you get like the rhythm of it and you realize how you can like interconnect those blueprints to create like a bigger building, it just unlocks so much more detail that you can put into those builds. And it is just so much, it's very satisfying. Hence the name, Satisfactory, to create this like massive project, and those blueprints just make it that much easier.
I think blueprint, if you embrace it, it does elevate your builds a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of architecture is very repetitive as well, so take advantage.
So I saw with your the one build, the Pink Palace one, I think that one is essentially just blueprints all the way through. And there, like you said, it's a very repetitive work, and that's probably a good example of how the repetitive nature of building can save you time if you utilize blueprints.
Yes, 100%. And that's actually maybe my third build that I actually used blueprints in, and that was before I knew that you could put blueprints inside of blueprints. So I probably could have done it a lot quicker now that I know, but a lot of it is actually also handmade because there's so many like minute differences, especially like on the backside of it as well. So I tried to use the blueprints, but also, make sure that there is like some variety in it as well.
Okay.
So it's like half and half.
So what do you think, in your opinion, is the most underrated item in the game? Like build item that people tend to ignore or completely overlook?
I mean, no one overlooks it, but beams. The sound of placing a beam down, I can never get enough. But for items other than beams, is an answer use more than one kind of beam in the same place an answer?
I suppose.
So overlapping different types of beams is a very, very fun way to make cool textures.
No, I agree. I would say for me, it's the combination of beams and pillars, where you can use beams and have pillars act as beams in the sense of their versatility. That works quite well for me.
Yeah. Oh, actually, and another thing that I think a lot of people overlook is using pillars as walls. So if you overlap pillars, they actually create this really cool kind of like stucco effect, and it makes your walls look really clean, and you can really customize the colors.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, and then so your world is now completed. That's like that world is fully completed. You've done all your milestones, you've done all your phases. Are you going to give Satisfactory a little bit of a break just to kind of like take a breather, or are you moving directly onto a new one, like a new set of limitations perhaps, or maybe a new avenue of creativity in the game?
Yeah, 100%. So I am currently taking like a break from like the main world, and I'm working on a just like pure creative, like extreme sandbox where I'm actually making a mini train diorama, and that has been so much fun to make. But I'm also planning on doing a complete survival Let's Play series after I kind of take that little train diorama break.
Oh, that's going to be a bit of a change of pace for you to go from pretty much full creative to full survival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not yeah. Oh, I know. It's going to be so much fun. Because my first playthrough I ever did was in just full survival. So I'm excited to scream and run away from all the spiders again. That'll be fun.
Yeah, good luck with that. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing how people respond to your world, because it is something special. I think it is something unique. I think it's also going to give people a lot of inspiration, or at least I hope so.
Yeah, no, I would love to see people kind of use my kind of like, you know, the word maybe ingenuity of like using a lot of beams to create like so much texture and like really make that like realistic, you know, this could be on a building kind of a look. So I'm excited to see what people do.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for being part of this this new series that I'm doing. And hopefully, when you wrap up your second world, we can have a part 2.
Yeah, I'll see you in like 2 years.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate your time again. And if you guys would like to submit your world tours, feel free to join my Discord and just go to the world tour submission section and log a ticket. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you on the next one.